brute force. If it doesn't work, you're just not using enough. You're listening to SOFREP Radio, Special Operations Military News, and straight talk with the guys in the community.
Welcome to another awesome episode of SOFREP Radio. Insert the in the background right here. My name is Rad. I am your host. And if you are a first-time listener or viewer, welcome to the program. I hope you have a good time and enjoy my guest. If you are a veteran of the show, thanks so much. But you know what I'm about to say, and that is go check out sofrep.com/merch store. All right, we have a merch store. It's got all sorts of branded goods in there, curated by the guys in the soft community for you. You know, like, hey, you want to wear something that says SOFREP on it? Go check out the shirts. We got them. You can represent it, and then tag me, Airsoft, or excuse me, I do Airsoft, but SOFREP Mafia. All right, hashtag SOFREP Mafia. The second thing I want to talk about is our book club, and that is sofrep.com/book-club. All right, that is the gym for your mind. Read a book, gain some knowledge. Knowledge is power. Your brain is a muscle, so read a book, right? And so with that said, books, okay? I have a book right here by my guest, which you already know who it is because you see the link, you clicked on it, you said, I want to listen to Mike Hayes, former SEAL Team 2 commander, who wrote Mission Driven and also Never Enough, right? Isn't it Never Enough was the first book?
It was. I'm so stoked to be here, Rad.
Well, I'm so stoked to have you, sir, on the show. You know, when I saw that I was going to have Mike Hayes on the show, and he has his book coming out, Mission Driven. You guys got that out to me. I started to look at it, and the first thing I noticed was, of course, like a page that had just a few words in the beginning. And I was just like, okay, what's this guy all about? And can I ask you, Tanai and Mason, no words can express my profound love and appreciation. Could you just elaborate on who that is real quick for me?
First of all, Rad, thanks for having me here. Really appreciate it, and inspiration, all the impact that you have for this great nation, helping us be greater every day. Thank you. Nee and Mason. Nee is short for Anita, my wife. Mason, daughter. They're the ones who've lived through, I think it was 7 deployments of 6 months or longer. And as anybody who's listening knows, the spouses are the secret ingredient of the nation.
100%. And before you and I started talking on this conversation, I pointed my dad's flag and my mom's picture right next to it. Again, my mom being the spouse, my dad going and doing deployments as a Green Beret. She was always mom and dad. She was always like, oh, hey, everything's going good. I missed dad, I guess, but I never missed dad because I always thought, oh, dad's doing his job. Dad's doing his thing. Mom's here. Mom's making sure everything's going accordingly. And then dad comes home, wants to pal up next to mom. Mom's like, well, I got to take the son to school. I got to take Aaron to do all these things. You can fall into line by doing those things, you know? And so that's very cool that you put her in the beginning of your book. And your daughter, I kind of figured, that's why I wanted to shout out to them. And then also, something that also is right here, it's just kind of chilling, you know, to my fallen SEAL brothers and their Gold Star families. I'm so sorry and thank you. I will never forget. I can only imagine you're sorry, okay? And the thanks that you have for the men that you led into harm's way under your command. And, it's not an easy task to call home and say, hey, babe, everything's going great. And then you have to hang up the phone and deal with what you have to deal with as the commander of a team of such elite athletes and personas, type A personalities, all like shepherds. I don't like to use sheepdogs. I don't like to use wolves. I like to use shepherds. These guys are like, they can take care of the sheepdogs and and all that. Like, you are a shepherd of your crew. You guys are all a bunch of fighters, and you've probably lost some guys. And so I really appreciate that forward, that in your first page, right? I just want to point that out.
Man, that's what it's all about. It's what drives me, and that is my mission. The title of the book is Mission Driven, but that is my mission. I like every SEAL or SOF member or military member of my era have been, shot at, rocketed, gotten in vehicles and wonder if you're going to even know that you died. I've jumped out of a building that was rigged to explode. I've, amputated a teammate's leg on a mission. And I'm no different than anybody else, just to be clear. Like, we all in the veteran community carry that weight. And what that means to me, Rad, is I live a life of saying, am I worthy? Am I living my life in a way that's worthy of my teammates who are not here? And am I doing everything I humanly can to honor them and to help the families who continue to pay that ultimate sacrifice every single day?
Every day, by looking at a photo of their lost one, every single day some type of remembrance is brought to them. And one thing that you do, I know you have a book, I know we're here to talk about your book and things like that, but another thing that you do that I found out about is that you help Gold Star families with 501c3, which is a charity license, right? And I'm not sure, I think it's like 1162. I'm not sure the exact name of your charity. I just kind of remembered something along those lines. But you've like helped paid off 12 to 15 Gold Star families' mortgages, right? Which helps free up the burden of the mortgage payment. Okay, first of all, which is probably coming in from, the husband helping out.
Dude, yeah, look, I've lived a life now, very, very fortunate, and 20 years in the teams, and have been blessed with both wonderful days and terrible days and everything in between. But what I've done is started a nonprofit, the 1162 Foundation. Kennedy started the SEALs on 1162. That's actually and there's a little bit of a double meaning
Oh,
behind that, because 1-1, it's like that's what renewal is. January 1st. We all kind of hit the end of year and we're like, hey, what are we going to do and be for next year? And so it really signifies, ideally, after you pay off a mortgage, ideally just lift a slight bit of the burden that these families carry. And so that's where I have my foundation. We paid off 12 mortgages now, and those are the 12 best days of my life.
yeah, that's great. Probably to present somebody, hey, a letter or whatever the deed is, or however you're doing it, like, hey, here's something for you. We've got this taken care of. And I'm sure that their lost loved one is chill with that. Like, thank you.
Yeah, it's just, I just imagine all of the teammates upstairs, or whatever you believe in. I believe in heaven,
Yeah.
I believe they're just looking down and saying thank you, continued thanks, not just to the foundation that I have, but to all of us who are still just trying to be the best we can and do the best that we can for the nation and for our fellow citizens.
Yeah, and they're probably up there just saying, continue to protect her and protect her at all costs, and continue to
Charlie
fight.
Mike.
Y- yeah, 100%, 100%. And they're in good company. My dad's up there. My mom's up there. Other people's parents and family members are up there for eons. And so I can only imagine that they're all just up there in good company, watching down on us, making sure that we join them as well in that aspect. Now, my parents believed in heaven, but it was a little different. There's like Mormons have a planetary alignment. So once you pass away, you go to a planet and you get to like oversee that planet. And so hopefully my mom and dad's on that cool planet. And it's kind of crazy because there's a tier process where you have 3 tiers. So if you don't make it to the planet, you make it to a different planet, but you can't visit the top planet, but they can visit you. So if I don't make it to the top planet, hopefully mom and dad will come visit me to the other 3. So for those of you out there that are Mormon, you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, we don't talk about planets enough in the Mormon church publicly, so I just want to talk about that. But just try to make light of the situation where my parents are, because, yeah, man, it's wild. You go out into Afghanistan, you go out into Iraq, or you go into some country that we don't even know you're going into with a team, and these guys are going in to try to, take care of business. And then, you have to overwatch that whole situation, right? You're usually watching the movements of everything going on, hearing everything coming through. You're getting the soft rep from the guys, right? You're like, hey, what's the soft rep with Team Two's unit here, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, absolutely. Like, when I was the second in charge of a SEAL team, I thought I knew what it would be to be overall in charge. But until you're in that role, you just can't understand how much weight that is you carry for the lives and the well-being of everybody in your command. Everybody listening who's had command completely understands what I'm saying at all different levels. And one of the things that I really would emphasize is like when I made it through SEAL training, I was one of 19 graduates out of a class of 120. And when I was 22 years old, I thought I was the coolest thing in the world. And the faster you learn that you're no cooler than anybody else on the planet, the faster your path to success. And the more you realize that it's a group of people with different gifts and interests and abilities and skills and that come together to make one team, that's what makes it go around.
Yeah, I mean, like you have everybody on a team from all walks of life. Some people never had a mom and dad. They come out, the instructor's yelling at him, and he's like, "Oh, you love me more than no one ever did." It's like I'm gonna get through this no problem. You're giving me attention. And then you've got people from all races and creeds coming through and all different beliefs to form this beautiful thing called U.S. Navy, right? The U.S. Navy. It's not my Navy, it's the U.S.
Yeah, and
Navy,
even under
right?
like once you even hit SOCOM, like I was privileged when I had command of SEAL Team 2. I ran Special Operations Task Force Southeast in Afghanistan for 2012 or 9 months in 2012, and I was privileged to work with Green Berets. We cross pollinated, had Marines here and there, and there's you name it, and civilians like. We all joke around about what you're named, whether you're Navy or Army or Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force now, like everybody puts on the uniform is signing a piece of paper that says I will serve and protect, and I don't care. Like, everybody's uniquely special and needed.
Let me ask you, when you were going to college, okay, because we're talking about you being a commander, that's an officer, that's a college degree, all right, for the military. What was your college degree in at a young man? How old were you when you got your degree? You said 22
Well,
when you joined.
I did 4 years of college at Holy Cross in Worcester, Mass. Graduated with a math degree. Was one of, I think it was either like 14 or 16 ROTC commissions who were accepted to SEAL training that year. And as I think everybody knows, SEAL training is really the only military training where the officers and the enlisted go through together. And so, just like in a gunfight, bullets don't give a shit what your rank is. Excuse my French. It's just like we're all just trying to solve a problem, and rank doesn't really make as much of a difference when what we looked at in the SEAL teams is things like who is the person who is best suited to carry out a task, and number two is who's got the proximity to the problem or the opportunity. Like generally speaking, like I joke around, but like I'm rarely the right person to go do the thing because I know somebody who's better at me than everything else out there. Like, and so why would I call my own number when I've got people around me who are truly better at all the different things? I like to say I don't play an instrument. I conduct bands. I'm one of the world's best band conductors. But and now in the civilian world, in the business world, it's no different. Like I build teams of people that go rally around a vision and a set of outcomes that you want to produce, and for investors, for shareholders, whatever the case may be, and then you go and achieve that. And what is that core general athleticism that military members have? It becomes intrinsic in you. And in fact, like a little bit morphing a little bit into the book here, maybe getting ahead of where you want to be. But the first half of the book is about who you want to be. Like my wife and I, our daughter's now 24, but I was on a deployment in Kosovo when she was born. I didn't get to see her born in 2001. And anyways, as she was growing up, we didn't say, what do you want to be? We'd say, who do you want to be? The what you are is it's like the role that you're in is the what, and that's a lot less important than the who. The who is, how do you want to treat people? How do you want to lean into hard problems? How do you want to make sure that you maintain your ethics and your morals and your standards when life gets really difficult? Like those are, like, I could keep going on, but those attributes of the deeper who are way more important. And that's what we learn in the military community. I don't care what branch or specialty that you're in, we all learn that.
That's awesome. And so how would you define success?
Well,
with that?
it's a great question, and so I never aspired to write one book, let alone a second. So my first Never Enough came out 4 years ago. Again, I immediately, I get overpaid to speak in public, and I got a lot of money for that book, and I donate every single penny of that to the nonprofit. So I do not make a single penny on anything that I do in this regard, and
So someone who buys the book today, this book, Mission Driven, all proceeds go towards your charity for the Gold Star families,
yes.
right? So you're getting a book that's going to help you to understand maybe yourself a little bit internally, and then you're also, which is a positive thing, and then also your money's going to go a little further, and it's going to go towards helping Gold Star families pay off a mortgage.
100%, all of my profits.
100%.
And the reason that I ended up writing Mission Driven was because I've had so many people reach out and say, leaving the SEAL teams or changing jobs in business, and saying, hey Mike, I love Never Enough, but how do you make it real? What does meaning really mean? What does impact really mean? And how do you have more of a playbook for transitioning and whatnot? So I don't have your answer for what's best in your life. I have certain gifts and abilities and interests and passions, and mine aren't yours, and yours aren't mine, and et cetera. And that's all what makes the world go round, and it's great. So I think a lot of advice that people give is intrinsically that you should do what I did because I'm the smartest person I know. And that's not my advice. Like what it is more of a process and a series of kind of things to think about, interwoven with stories that make it real to bring it to life. If for example, if I had to say, who are you, Rad, and put you on the spot and say, you've got, 3 sentences to tell me who you are, I bet you would get at best a B on that answer, and you might get an F. You know what I mean? I'm using you as a metaphor for everybody because these are hard things to answer. When I hire in the private sector, I just think of 3 circles. What gives someone energy? What are they good at? And what does the business need? As a hiring manager, I already know what the business needs, or I wouldn't be in that conversation. If I ask you what you're good at, you're going to know everything you're good at, and maybe even another 30% that you may not be good at, like that. But what people wrestle with is the circle around what gives you energy. And the thing is, when you can align what gives you energy with what your job is, what your mission is, it's not work. It's not work, and so that is what we're really trying to align in life. And that's, to me, what is the purpose of the book is not for me to find your mission for you, but to help you find your mission and achieve it.
Correct, because what you're saying is hey, you may want to go down the life of hot dogs, and I may go down the life of hamburger, but we can use the same template to achieve that goal, and that's what you're really bringing forward. I was writing down the circles. See, I was just taking the circles notes here. I like to say that when I meet a guest that inspires me, I become a better person. And so today already, in the last 17 minutes, I'm already feeling the vibe from you. And so I'm gleaning off of this. I get to personally have this information from you. So, what gives me energy? I guess just proving myself to my father and my mother, who raised me to be the way I am. If I was to define myself in 3 sentences, it would be loving, kind, father, friend.
Amazing.
I just want you to know, I was like, should I say it? And so I just want to put it out there, and those same things that make me who I think I am are also what drives me.
It's in knowing what gives you energy and what drives you is the most important thing in the business world. I get a lot of people transitioning out of the SEALs or wherever that are like, hey, Mike, thanks for taking the time. I really just want to continue to work with great people. I want to have a great mission and have some opportunity to provide for the family. And I'm like, man, that describes everybody getting out. I can't do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so broad. I love you for saying it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also true for everyone. We need to narrow that down, and let me help you kind of narrow that down. How do you think about the different attributes of what's important to you? Think about things like what kind of firm do you want to move into? Is it a sector? Is it what type of role? What size of firm do you want to be in? The big 300,000 person big enterprise, a Fortune 100, or do you want to be in a 3-person startup? How do you think about quality of life, geography, compensation, et cetera? And what I encourage in one of the kind of little exercisey, thought-provoking types of parts of the book is to also say, go score those for yourself. How important are they? Because a lot of, and then put them in force ranked order so you can kind of see what you value. Pick two of the attributes: geography and compensation. If I came to you and said, you can go make $10 million a year in the city you never wanted to live in, or make $10,000 a year in the city you always wanted to live in, like that map we just described would have that answer for you.
Yeah, you're almost like Six Sigma-ing your situation, which is like math of words, where you're breaking down the root and getting to the point of what makes you kind of what the issue is. And so, I mean, that's what I'm gleaning from what we're talking about. And so, I guess what you're trying to say is we have to get comfortable with not just being, oh, we all love each other, we all want to be best fathers, we all want to take care of our families. That's what you say. Like everybody kind of getting out says, oh, I'm that same thing. It's you have to get comfortable with making decisions about yourself that you may not realize. And so now you have to like drill down on those things and say, well, what exactly about being a loving father is this going to
totally
be?
And then like I actually, as we think about, like, I am passionate about the military community transitioning well, and so so think of it, a thought exercise. Let's just say I was a person in the world who knew every executive in the entire private sector. And let's say you're in an elevator and I step in. And I say, okay, hey, great to see you, Rad. It's been, a couple years since we served in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever. How the heck are you? Oh, hey, Mike, I'm looking at transitioning. Oh, great. Okay, Rad. I only have another 30 seconds for you, brother, and then I got to run. But tell me in 7 sentences, what are you looking for?
Snowboarding.
Okay, well, I'll go with you. I'm in. I picked up snowboarding last year. Yes. I'm a big wake surfer. So anyways, I'd have a lot more fun talking about that. But let's go.
Goofy for life, bro. That's me. I'm goofy for life.
I'm regular, just to be clear.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's okay. It's okay.
But anyways, in that elevator, in those 7 sentences, can you give me something that narrows in on me being able to take all my connections that I have and say, who are the ones that are going to help you the most? Because a lot of what happens when people transition is they do it in a bottom-up way. It's like, hey, I know a person who has an opportunity and I'm going to go evaluate this opportunity. Instead of doing the thinking agnostic of an opportunity and working in the abstract and working top down to say, you know what, I really want to work in finance. I really want to, like, Raleigh, North Carolina is super important to me, or whatever the case may be. Like, can you help me take the prioritizations from before to really help me map my network and then say, okay, if you just go talk to a bunch of people, for example, in Boston, in your job search, chances are you're probably going to land in and around Boston. Could the person in Boston know someone in San Francisco? Sure. But like you're mathematically kind of like driving your next phase of your life by choosing what conversations you have. And that's what I've tried to do in Mission Driven, besides being, I know it sounds very professorial or academic. It's a book with real stories and stuff too. But that's what one of the things I'm trying to get across to people is help them to help themselves.
Well, and you can't help but like kind of blend your other book even together, I think like Battlefield to the Boardroom, and so you just have this je ne sais quoi about it where you're going to know your lane and, and so the Mission Driven book here, I mean, you just have, it has got so much information because we all do transition every point of every single day. And so,
we all wake up and really choose our lives every single day, even if we're not making a change.
Every single day. And that kind of stuck out to me in your book, just to kind of loosely quote you there. But it's like, yeah, I wake up, and I did start, after I was at General McRaven that gave the speech about like making your bed. And some people are like, oh, I don't make my bed. I don't need to listen to that, whatever. But I started remaking my bed after him. He's like, why do we make our beds? Why do we force people in buds who are going to be hardened, trained killers to go make their bed every night or every morning with hospital corners, so that when you're done at the end of the day and you're beat down and you're ready just to crash, you don't have to go look at your bed and say, oh, I got to make it to lay in it or whatever. You can just lay down in your bed and it's ready to go. So, and then you got to wake up the next day and you got to like wash, rinse, and repeat. But something has to kind of tweak to keep going every single day. So, I mean, that's what you're talking about. You got to make a decision. You got to wake up every day. You got to transition your life. Every day is a new day. And I guess to quote the SEALs, there's no easy day like yesterday.
Damn straight.
Yeah, dude. So see how that just flows right there, you know? I mean, really, you're just pumping out some positive information. And again, the book being just, you know, charitable to, you know, a positive good, you know, I would just recommend anybody getting it just to help that mission, let alone read a book. At the beginning of the show, I said, what's the gym for your brain? It's reading a book. It's like really, you know, I like to hold a book. I know people have these Kindles and digital platforms that they read, but there's nothing like the book where you can turn the page, and you can flip the page and go back and say, wait a second here. You know, I have a hard time doing that on a phone, you know, zooming in to try to read it. So I really appreciate the way this book feels too. I get so many books from folks. And so the color and the whole thing about it, it just kind of makes me want to read it. And in fact, my wife's like, "Oh, you're getting ready for your podcast." I was like, "Yeah, I'm reading a book."
and then you were
and I guess
6 seconds later. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I usually kind of wing a lot of it. I'm just saying, you know, but you know, there's sometimes where I just want to read it. And so again, you know, it does say in here, mission driven in the ways we spend our time. So I'm going to say that. You know, my dad used to have a whiteboard in his office as a Green Beret. And on that whiteboard, him and his guys would write 5 years out of what's going down, you know? And so I've kind of adopted a little whiteboard mentality myself in my own company, right? Because we're trying to allocate what we're doing. We're like, hey, okay, we're going to scale up our website. This is actually going down right now. So we have forecasting basically what's going to, you know, happen, how it's going to be doing, and we want timelines, and, you know, I want answers from my web guy in the 24 to 48 hours. All this stuff is being kind of like itemized so we can just get it done. Otherwise, we're like wishing.
100%. The one gift that we have is time, and how we choose to spend our time. It has to reflect who we are and what missions that we're on. And one of the harder things in life is saying no, and especially when people are wired like I am, and like I know your entire audience is wired, is like they're people who get things done, and the reflexive answer is almost always yes. And I think one of the things to really look at is say, how well can you say no when something doesn't fit your mission, if you will. And 7 years ago, I had a vision for to make something that was local really be national. We opened the National Medal of Honor Museum. I'm the founding board member of the National Medal of Honor Museum, which opened in Arlington, Texas. 7 years ago, I had a conversation to help somebody. And it was 30 minutes of a friend of a friend. I'll give you some advice. I'll spare you the long version. The short version is I'm one of the board members of the museum, and we raised $300 million, and 7 years later we opened the doors in this past March on Medal of Honor Day, and to be able to have a place to recognize not just the 3,500 plus recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor and the 61 living recipients that we have today. It's actually, how do we take the values, the characteristics that the service members espoused on the day when they were recognized for their day of action, and tell those stories, not just in a way that are like to impress, or because that's not who they are. I'm obviously not one of them, but with what I can say from knowing most of them is there's such humility and such grace and such inspiration, and all of these guys want the nation to be as great as it humanly can. And so the mission for the museums is on a mission to inspire America. And that's what we're trying to do, is inspire the world, so that the third grader who sees bullying on the schoolyard, who just saw something, one of the displays at the museum, can step in and have the courage, the ability to see wrong, identify wrong, and to step in and make something happen. And that's really what we're trying to do, is use the examples to help all of our citizens be better.
You know, I never, thought about Medal of Honor in the third grade as a way of life. But now that you say that, there's probably many Medal of Honor kids out there that have stepped into situations that are just unknown as young kids before they ever go to the military, doing difficult things. Exactly. That maybe, you know what I mean? Like And another thing off the top of my head, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but regarding the Medal of Honor, my understanding is the most Medal of Honors are out of like Colorado, Pueblo area. The Pueblo, Colorado area has like the most Medal of Honors awarded to people, and not just code talkers, because that's where they're from, but just other individuals from the Pueblo area. And I was just like, wow, what's in that water? Okay, so whatever's going on in Pueblo, Colorado, you guys have, that's a hero town.
Yeah,
right
I'm not
there.
up on my geography like I should be with the Medal of Honor recipients, but look, it's really representative of the whole nation, and so you've got you've got
Right.
incredible stories. I'd encourage anybody to become familiar with the Medal of Honor Museum. It's right next to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. If you're ever passing through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you've got to go see this. The first 5 minutes are the most remarkable 3D video in a rotunda that you will ever see. I think we're going through, yards and yards of Kleenex, starting with me. Every time I see that movie, it's just so freaking moving.
Already, I need the Kleenex.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
I mean, I have it here because I already got choked up on your intro of, thank you to my friends that may not be here anymore, let alone those that have just, took a grenade for their fellow buddy in battle to make sure he goes home. There's reasons why people jump on a grenade, like Captain America in
well,
the movie.
Kyle Carpenter, Flo
Exactly. I was going to mention
tackling
Kyle.
tackling a suicide bomber. Like the stories are
Exactly.
remarkable, and to say like, where in the world did America find these people? Like, wow, it's just really inspirational.
Well, thanks to their mom and dad,
Yeah.
okay? Because here they are, and they went, and and Kyle he's still
Yes,
living.
yes,
Yes,
Kyle's
I'm pretty
alive.
sure
Yep.
he is. Yeah, yeah. He took a lot of damage from that situation, but I mean, dude, so many like Dakota Meyer, right? Still living, youngest recipient, I think, of the Medal of
Just,
Honor,
I mean,
right? Living.
these are heroes. It's just,
Yes,
and you know what I would say is, I'm privileged to know a lot of these guys. We got 5 of them on our board of the Medal of Honor Museum, and
as they
I've
should
never
be.
met a hero who says that he or she is one.
That's what I'm getting at. Like they just, like you said, they're like, hey, I'm not cool. You think I'm cool, but I'm just like you, right? It's just like, hey, you would have done the same thing, maybe. That's probably what they think, and they look at somebody else. It's like, hey, if you were in the situation, you would have probably done the same type of thing. If it was your buddy out there, you would have dodged enemy fire, you would have disobeyed orders, you would have gone and got Bubba. Okay, you would have pulled him out, because you pulled everybody else out, but where's Bubba, right? So you go right back in to go get that situation, and you come back out.
I've had some time to reflect back on this. I think that the real reason that military members do this is certainly, of course, for the American flag, the Constitution, and apple pie. But the real reason people take this risk is for the love of their teammates. I didn't use the L
That's right.
word when I was, a 25 or a 35-year-old SEAL. I'm 54 now. Like, I see it so freaking clearly. It is pure love for your teammates.
I would imagine. It's just like if you or me were shoulder to shoulder and something happened, I'd be like, well, it's Mike, dude. Like, that's Mike. That's Mike right there. Okay, so who's going? I'm going. I don't care. You can say it's shitty and you're gonna have to get me too, but it's Mike, bro.
Yeah.
Like, hello, look what he's given me. He gave me all of the point guard. I was always on point because of him. He always gave me the first shot. And that's awesome. And I'm sure you've probably heard the analogy of like the bro versus the friend on the team. Like, who's the bro, who's the friend? Like you're sitting there typing up all of the orders, you're getting all this intel coming down the chain of command, and you crumble up your piece of paper, throw it in your wastebasket, and it falls down on the floor. And you're like, hey, bro, will you come take this trash out for me? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem, bro. You're like, okay. And he's like, goes down the chain, hey, bro, go take out the boss's trash. So the last guy comes in, he's like, hey, boss, I'm gonna take your trash out. You're like, thanks, bro. But the friend on the team, that friend would have already saw your trash being filled. He would have already come in and emptied it. So when you pulled that piece of paper, crumbled it, and tossed it, it would have gone right in your basket. So you have the friend versus. Have you heard that analogy?
Of course, and it resonates. I would say though is there's the ability to be all of the above, is to have the military structure and at the same time the friendship and the brotherly love, like it's just all can exist. It can all coexist. And
I guess it's not like I'm kissing the CO's ass. It's that I'm giving him customer service because I'm hired to be under him, and just because it looks like I'm trying to like schmooze him doesn't mean I'm just like, hey, what do you need from me, sir?
Let me say it differently because I love what you're saying. It's Let me go back to Hell Week in SEAL training, Class 192 back in 1993, and this is no different than any SEAL going through SEAL training, anybody going through the Q course, anybody going through any sort of crucible to become the thing that they are. The thing I remember very vividly thinking when I had a boat under my head with my teammates is the more I hurt, the less my teammates hurt. And so the thing is that when I'm speaking to my daughter's, ages ago, but her 7th grade classroom on Veterans Day, and I said, hey, let's do a little thought exercise here. You're paired up with another person, and you each have to do an assignment. How much do you each have to do? And all the hands go up, and I call on the first kid, and the answer is 50%. And I said, no, wrong answer. All the hands go down, and even the teacher looked a little confused. The thing is, the answer is as much as you humanly can. Because then when you have two people come together and their answer is that they're each trying to do as much of the work as they humanly can, that's the ingredient. That's when you have like elite success and elite performance. And that mindset, that's what we really, really see throughout the military, excuse me.
No, please. That makes total sense. It's like, just put everything you got into the situation, and just do as much as you can. And you may not get the answer to number 2, but 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then maybe your battle buddy got number 2 and you can work together to complete that. But you do as much as you can because your number 6 might be his number 6.
Yeah, and so if I'm the commander in your situation, I'm thinking, what can I do? I work for everybody else somebody might be emptying the garbage, but I am living a life that is trying to make other people's lives better, easier, et cetera. And we're all doing that for each other, irrespective of task, rank, or role.
Right, exactly. But the guy taking the trash out, the friend, while you're sitting there writing the orders, you might notice the friend that did that. And you might give him, I'm going to make you point guy on this mission. I'm going to give Bill his slot. He wants the 60 today. So cool, and, he's always, customer service, you're performing. Because like you said, you're an orchestrator. You're a conductor of an orchestra. All right. And so as a manager in business, as I've learned is I can't know everything. I can't know everything to do with all of what I sell in the tactical world of war games, but I have people around me who are super smart and I can go, hey, Mitch, subject matter expert on optics. Why would I want this optic over this optic? And then I kind of walk away and let the customer talk to Mitch. And Mitch says, well, this is why you want this optic. This is why you need this optic. But I kind of led them to Mitch. So, overall, you as a manager, surround yourself with good people makes you look like a good manager.
We're the average of the people we hang out with. And so my whole life, I've just worked to hang out with people who are smarter, faster, and stronger than me. And that hasn't been hard to find. And that's what's pulled me up.
And that can contribute to that, 100%. And same way, our circles can be, closed so tight and people try to get into them and they try to research you and try to hit you up. And, you just got to always keep your bearings about who you hire around you. I just want to say that as a business guy, they're, so again, though, I can't help it if someone in my business sees me doing what I do and says, hey, I want to be like what Rad's doing and have a little freedom to go snowboarding. I can't fault them for that. So if they want to step off and go do something, I can only be proud that they worked with me for as long as they did. And I was proud to have them with me. And now I can see them grow as well. And then maybe they'll come to me and I can help them even grow further as long as just stay in your lane. That's all I'm saying. So I just want to see the people around me also succeed and rise to the top. Whether they come into me working as a young 14-year-old sweeper in my kill house to earn playtime in there, or they're my former Iraq infantry, been there, done that, instructors at my shop. Those guys I glean off of. They're like, oh yeah, Rad, you want to come around a corner like this, keep your wing down, keep your elbow down. You don't want to keep your elbow up, you want to keep your elbow down, just like simple things. I mean, your book's awesome. You're awesome. I really love battlefield to boardroom mentality, of using what put you through all the ringers of Hell Week and going through BUDS, but it's not just BUDS, it's ASVAB and basic training and going through, everything to get there that helped create a culture inside of you because, every time we join the military, it starts to shape us. You start to adapt to the situation, and we get, no matter how long you spend it, from the ASVAB to your out process, you've been Rubik's cubed by the military to be a certain way program. A lot of guys transitioning out go and get last minute documents signed, and they go through this TAPS program to get out, and and they have these papers that really don't mean anything on the outside, but they think it's so important to go get all this stuff signed off. But they're like, I'm going to go now to be a civilian and transition. And so I'm always hearing these stories of how do I transition correctly? I'm like, well,
I'm telling you,
just have to have a passion.
and that is one of the main reasons I wrote my book, was to help the community that I know and love. If anybody's thinking about transitioning, Mission Driven is the book for you. It really is. And again,
That's right.
the only reason I can say, hey, go buy it, is because I don't make any money on it, and it's going to the win-win here is hopefully I help people who read the book. The early feedback has been remarkable. I will say that it debuted as number 4 on the top 150 books sold in the world. And that's across all genres. Fiction sells way more than nonfiction. Kind of speaks to who we are as people. But we let,
Right.
but so anyways, top 4 in the world, for me, it's not about it's not about anything other than helping and influencing and elevating the conversation in order to help us be better as individuals and as a nation.
Yeah, I love that. No, you're great. And I use the word love a lot. And when I say it, it's because I mean it. I'd rather tell you I love you in person than at your funeral. I mean, I'm a big believer in, that today. I see friends all the time, like even my employees, I'm like, hey guys, take this to HR, but I love you.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, I know.
I'm HR,
yeah,
you get it?
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
But I tell them, I'd rather you guys know that today that you matter to me than at your funeral or at a wake, where those aren't the reunions I want to go to, but it's the reunions I have to go to. And so
I like to say, we're all varying degrees of imperfect, just trying to be less imperfect in the areas we choose every day.
100%. And so again, this is a not-for-profit book. This is mission driven. All proceeds go to the 1162, which is very clever, 1162. Very cool with Kennedy, 1162. I'm glad I remembered that number, and all, to help pay Gold Star families. And if you're listening and you don't know what a Gold Star family is, which is very valid, okay, because you may be like, what's a Gold Star family, Rad? Well, that's someone who's lost a member in battle. And specifically, they will hang like a gold star on their window, a blue star if they are deployed, but a gold star means that they've lost a loved one, family member in battle. And so real quick, are the gold stars all SEAL families, or is it just kind of a spectrum?
So
I'm curious.
One of my approaches with the 1162 Foundation is that we have no full-time employees. Everybody's a volunteer. We have 3 people on a board. My assistant helps volunteers her time doing a lot of the coordinating stuff, and that's it. We have 4 people. And then one of the premises that I see, look, I'm not going to judge any nonprofits, but some nonprofits, when they do something great, they take the picture and they put it on the website and basically say, hey, go look at how great I am. I just helped so-and-so. One of the founding principles to the 1162 Foundation was that I don't talk about any individual names. That's those women's stories to tell, if they so choose to tell it. There are two or three people on the planet who know all 12 names collectively. And so each one that I do, there's probably 6 or 8 people that know, but there's the people who know all of them, it's a very, very, very small number. I will say that maybe a little bit of a teaser here. I read the Audible, so if you do download the Audible, I can put you to sleep in 6 seconds or less. But
I love that.
But when I got to I received I don't ask for anything in return for these mortgages that I paid off, other than just saying thank you and I'm sorry, like I opened in the book. And
100%.
the thing, I received one of the most beautiful letters of my entire life from one of the ladies, one of the Gold Star widows. And I have, for years, it's just been like me and my wife and maybe 1 or 2 other people have read it. And I have probably read that letter Rad, I probably read it maybe 500 times in my life. I get choked
Yeah.
up every single time, and it really it's just the most beautiful words that you'll ever read. I was talking to this lady, and when I write a book, I also have a principle of mine is I'm going to reach out to you. If I name you, I'm gonna get a hold of you and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Do you want your real name or do you want your name changed? And I'll follow whatever your choice is. A lot of maybe 10% of the people are like, no, change my name, please. Fine, absolutely. And but so I was going to tell a story about one of the Gold Star widows, and I called her and I said, "Listen, I'm living by my promise of not using names and everything." And she said, "No, Mike. Not only can you use my name," she said, "like that letter that I sent you, I sent that to you so that you could share it with the world." And in chapter 9, Rad, of Mission Driven, is an excerpt from that letter. And when I was reading the Audible, I kid you not, I had to stop. I could not make it through it. I paused and just had real, geez, man. I mean, even now I just feel it, but I just couldn't get through it, man. And so it's really, really, really hard to get. You'll hear me, I think I eventually got through it, but when you hear me read that in the Audible, if you listen to that version, I get pretty choked up, but it's a really powerful, one of the most powerful things that I think you could read. And so maybe this is my plea to try to get people to go buy Mission Driven, the real book or the audio book.
Yes.
But trust me, there's some really powerful stuff in here.
Yeah. Mission driven. Yeah. The stages of life, chapter 9. Yeah. Right. It's like, yeah, very cool. I'm very glad to have this book. Okay. I'll finish it and get through it and try to pull something out and glean it in my own personal life to help myself in the business aspect, or just, as a father, as a husband, and, as a friend, which is what I like to focus on, right? I just said the 3 things that, I really like to focus on, and especially snowboarding, right? So, as a snowboarding friend of yours now, if you ever want to go snowboarding, I want to invite you here to Utah, where I'm based out of. And we have Brighton Ski Resort right here at the top of the world. 12,800 feet is where we'll hang out at Snake. And we'll just go down that bad boy through the trees.
Dude,
And we call it
no
Star
trees
Wars.
for this guy. I'm going at 80%, not 100, and 80 is maybe even too high of a number. I'm just keeping that uphill edge buried, and so I'm never
Love
catching
it.
a toe side edge and breaking this body
No,
down. I'm very conservative, but it sure
no.
is fun.
I'm very proud that you gave it a go in your 50s, right? You said
Yeah,
you started
well, actually,
snowboarding in
so
your 50s.
maybe I'm ruining it if my daughter actually listens to this, but like we've both been wake surfing for a decade, and we're both, just pretty good wake surfers. Like I
Decent.
have
Yeah, good. Yeah.
360s and tricks and stuff. Like we're like
Oh, yeah.
quite. My daughter and I are both quite. I'll sound like the president of my own fan club here, but we're both pretty darn good wake surfers. And
Yes.
but she's
I
been
love it.
snowboarding forever. I've always been skiing, but last winter we have a place in New Hampshire, and I bought a snowboard, and she doesn't know that I must have gone maybe 6 or 8 times last winter. So I'm decent. I'm like upper beginner or very lower intermediate is where I would assess myself. But nonetheless, when I get to go with her this winter, I'm gonna go for the air quote first time, and I'm just gonna rip it down. And she'll be like, "Dad, how did you like learn so fast?" And I'll just be like, I don't
How?
know. This is easy."
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, my snowboards sit right here.
Yeah,
They're just waiting for some snow. I even got the fireplace all year just to make snow
nice.
happen. It's like let's go. I know I've had you for almost an hour of time, and I know you're a busy dude. You just got done doing other press, and with all these big letter acronyms out there. And I'm so happy and humbled that you came on to SOFREP Radio to speak to me and speak to my listener and the viewer out there. And there's guys all over the world that
No,
are
brother,
listening to
listen.
this.
Yeah, for those who are looking on, yes, I'm wearing a suit. I was just on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and doing an interview on NYSE, so I apologize for being overdressed. But listen, I say this from the bottom of my heart. Like this listener group, the military community, the soft community. That's my people, and that's who I will always be. And so it's a really like I could do a million things on the planet. This is the most special to me, and I really, really appreciate, not the opportunity, not just to have a fun conversation, but to really help, to elevate the conversation. Like, please read Mission Driven, recommend it to others. Please jump on Amazon, do your review. Like, there's a million books out in the world. Like, this should be the conversation. Help we're all on the same team here. This isn't about me. This is about like the right books, making it up in helping the conversations in the nation. And then as we've talked a few times through here, all of that legitimately, literally helps individual Gold Star families. And so I'm just thrilled to be here. Couldn't thank you more. You can find me on Instagram. This is Mike Hayes. On X, this is Mike Hayes. There's no dot for so again, this is Mike Hayes for Instagram. This is Mike Hayes for Twitter. LinkedIn, it's easy to find me. But I'm just really, really thrilled to be here and so appreciative of everybody who's in this SOFREP community.
And I will have those tags for your handles put down below for my listener and viewer. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this, you can check out, sofrep.com. Just click on one of the links. Again, you can go check out his Instagram. I feel that Mike is approachable like I am as well. So, I'll probably reply. He'll probably reply. Check it out. Go check out the book, Mission Driven, The Path to a Life of Purpose. Mike, I feel that you have always been that way. I know that you have a mortgage to pay too, but that's very cool of you to take care of the families and just never let it go, okay, until you can't. And so I'm just saying, on behalf of everybody, thanks for what you're doing.
Oh, no, thank you. Appreciate you.
And to my young guy out there that never got to join the military because you got asthma or maybe you were born premature and they wouldn't let you in, go get this book. You're a part of the community too, right? It's like, I don't think that Mike would disagree with that, right?
We all serve in different ways. You don't have to wear a uniform to serve. I've said this back earlier, all different gifts and interests and abilities and skills and it doesn't, if you can't wear the uniform or you haven't worn the uniform, that's okay. The question is, do you recognize that we all serve each other because that is service? And do you get off the sidelines and take ownership and accountability for this great nation? Do you getting plastics out of the ocean or cleaning up the forests or Teach for America, whatever your thing is, are you taking ownership and accountability to help make us better as individuals and as a nation? That's what the book is about, really.
I love that. And we're going to let that be the end of our conversation. And I just want to say that you should go out and check out Mission Driven. Go download the Audible, go buy the book, support the Gold Star families, support Mike Hayes and his mission. And again, Mike Hayes, man, SEAL Team Commander, SEAL Team 2. Hello, we're bringing you the hits right here. The rock stars are on the show. You guys like, Rad, when are you going to bring me the SEAL Team 2 Commander? Well, here you go, okay? And I hope that you have enjoyed the show yourself, Mike. And on behalf of my boss, Brandon Webb, former Navy SEAL sniper instructor, and all the guys and gals behind the scenes here at SOFREP, I just want to say thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to come onto our show and talk about your book, Mission Driven.
Pleasure's entirely mine. It's been my honor, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you again, Rad and Brandon and everybody else on the team.
All right, cool. And if I ever get out to Arlington, I'm going to go check out that Medal of Honor Museum and pay my respects. So thank you so much. And this is Rad on behalf of Mike Hayes and Brandon and everybody here at SOFREP and our nation. Peace.
You've been listening to SOFREP Radio.